Here is my Ferrari 296. Since I bought this Ferrari, we've never been able to get it started.
Imagine spending hundreds of thousands on a crashed supercar, only to be blocked from rebuilding it by the manufacturer.
But there are other parts that Ferrari have blocked. So they block that part to make sure that they know exactly where it's going and it's going to the right car.
When ownership and corporate control collide, and the tools to revive a car are locked away, the battle goes beyond a Ferrari 296 GTB. Matt Armstrong, renowned for reviving wrecked exotics, hits a wall this time, facing locked hybrid systems, partial cooperation, and a secret race car Ferrari won't even acknowledge. This story challenges everything we thought we knew about the right to repair and rebuild. The car and the crash. The Ferrari 296 GTB is one of the most advanced sports cars ever engineered, blending a 3.0-liter twin-turbo V6 with an electric motor to produce a staggering 830 horsepower. This machine can sprint from 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in under 3 seconds and starts at nearly 270,000 British pounds. It's packed with cutting-edge electronics, safety systems, and a hybrid battery setup that makes it as much a rolling supercomputer as a sports car. Its complexity is a testament to years of development by Ferrari's engineers in Maranello. But the 296 in question wasn't fresh off the showroom floor. It arrived severely damaged after a catastrophic crash on a Cyprus road. The owner had made the fateful decision to switch off driver aids while harnessing those 830 horses, a risky move on public roads. The consequences were devastating. A ripped suspension, a punctured floor pan, destroyed wiring, deployed airbags, and severe interior destruction. Every inch of the car bore a brutal signature of impact that left seasoned mechanics speechless. At the official Ferrari dealership in Cyprus, the verdict was clear and grim. The repair bill would be astronomical, and more importantly, the car itself had never before been repaired after such severe damage. The dealership's network pushed back hard, essentially writing the car off as a total loss. It was labeled done, finished, and beyond practical restoration by factory standards. For a car so new and expensive, this marked an almost unheard-of moment of corporate finality. Yet, to many in the car community, including Matt Armstrong, this wasn't the end. It was just the beginning of an unprecedented challenge.
Now, we've contacted people who have got a 296 challenge car, and they don't want to ruin their relationship with Ferrari by ordering a part.
Where Ferrari saw a closed door, Matt saw an invitation to defy the odds. Purchasing the wreck, he brought nearly £9,000 in original Ferrari parts to Cyprus.
Leave it here, we'll do the work. We bought enough parts to try and get this thing rolling, which are here. Inside here was £9,000 worth of parts.
And started the painstaking task of restoration. What followed was a surreal scene. A mangled 296 being painstakingly rebuilt in the shadow of pristine new Ferraris. Under the watchful eyes of dealership staff, the car was slowly returned to its 4 wheels, but the biggest hurdle loomed still unspoken. The plan was clear: get it running, ship it back to the UK, and complete the restoration.
And then we really need to strip this thing apart and find out how bad it actually is. So far, it's quite bad. See you in the UK.
Yet, even that first moment of ignition became a nightmare. The crash had triggered safety systems that effectively locked down the car's hybrid functions. What appeared to be a simple restart evolved into a battle with Ferrari's complex safety interlocks and digital restrictions. This incident marked not just damage to a mechanical marvel, but a confrontation with the future of automotive technology and ownership. The car, with all its state-of-the-art features, was now a fortress against repair, barricaded not just by physical wreckage, but by digital safeguards designed to prevent unauthorized intervention. The extent of the damage and the manufacturer's response showed how deeply intertwined the car's hardware and software had become. It would become clear that this crash wasn't just about smashed components, it was about the limits of independence in the era of hybrid hypercars. The damage was the initial problem, but the real challenge was the locked electronic systems that Ferrari controlled exclusively. A restoration that would have decades ago been challenging but straightforward now faced a new barrier: corporate control over software and diagnostics. Despite this complex web of obstacles, Matt Armstrong's determination pushed him forward. The 296 GTB was not just wrecked metal. It was a symbol of the evolving relationship between owners, technology, and manufacturers. The unfolding story promised to reveal whether passion and skill could overcome the intricate digital fortress Ferrari had built around its prized machine. Matt Armstrong's reputation as a supercar resurrection specialist made his decision to take on this project hardly surprising, but few anticipated the scale of what lay ahead. Matt Armstrong's challenge. Matt Armstrong is no ordinary YouTuber. With over 6.5 million subscribers, he has built a unique niche by buying wrecked supercars that most consider unsalvageable and bringing them back to life. From a ruined Porsche 911 GT3 RS to a crushed Lamborghini Aventador SVJ and a water-soaked Aston Martin DBX, Matt has repeatedly proven that where others see dead cars, he sees potential. His previous successes add a layer of intrigue and expectation whenever he announces a new project. Taking on the Ferrari 296 GTB was a natural continuation of Matt's passion for the impossible. The car's extreme complexity and hybrid technology promised to be his toughest challenge yet. Few people outside Ferrari's own engineers could have imagined attempting such a rebuild. Yet Matt's willingness to dive headfirst into these seemingly insurmountable projects is what sets him apart. His channel isn't just about cars, it's about engineering miracles and pushing the boundaries of what's possible. The partially completed rebuild in Cyprus was just the start of a journey full of technical puzzles and corporate roadblocks. Matt arrived prepared, carrying thousands of pounds of genuine Ferrari parts, but the unique hybrid nature of the 296 would introduce complications unheard of in traditional combustion engine restorations. The crash safety systems had triggered irreversible fuses that cut off the car's high-voltage power permanently, presenting a lockout only Ferrari could reset. Despite this, Matt's determination and experience led to support from the Cyprus dealership, which allowed him to use their facilities and tools to begin rebuilding the mangled chassis in their yard. This rare cooperation was a sign of respect for Matt's skills, but also hinted at the extraordinary nature of the project. Parts were sourced, suspension rebuilt, body panels refitted, and slowly, the car's form returned, all while surrounded by brand-new Ferraris, untouched by damage. However, the project was about to reach a critical impasse. Upon attempting to start the car and bring it back to life, the hybrid battery management system locked the ignition entirely. Matt found himself facing a brutal reality. No matter how skilled the mechanic or how genuine the parts, without Ferrari's unique software intervention, the car was a high-tech paperweight. This hybrid integration was so deep that the internal combustion engine itself would not fire without a green light from the battery module. The stubborn refusal of the hybrid system to cooperate was more than a technical challenge. It became a symbol of shifting control in the supercar world. Restoration had evolved into a corporate negotiation. The owner's ability to simply fix and drive his car was now beholden to Ferrari's decisions, policies, and proprietary software. This set a new precedent in automotive ownership that few had grappled with before. Such a technical roadblock would have halted many, but Matt is not one to surrender. His search for solutions drove him to think creatively not only about repairing the 296, but about transforming it entirely. He realized that to move forward, he needed to think beyond rebuilding as it was designed. The car would be something completely new, a unique creation blending original Ferrari engineering with race-inspired upgrades. In stepping up, Matt was doing more than just continuing a repair project. He was confronting an emerging conflict between passion-driven craftsmanship and closed factory control. His challenge was no longer simply about turning a key. It was about unlocking a new era of supercar ownership, where access, approval, and software defined what cars could be repaired or even started. This moment shaped the trajectory of the build and set the stage for the most controversial showdown in Matt Armstrong's career, between an independent builder's vision and Ferrari's corporate gatekeeping. With the hybrid system locked down and Ferrari's policies tightening, Matt knew he had to carve a new path forward, one that would redefine his build entirely. Repair struggles and hybrid lockout. One of the most frustrating and unprecedented obstacles to Matt Armstrong's project was the hybrid system lockout that occurred after the crash. The Ferrari 296 GTB uses two 96-volt pyrotechnic fuses designed to cut high-voltage power in the event of an impact. These fuses act like circuit breakers but cannot be reset. Their firing physically destroys the component, severing the power flow permanently. This one-way fail-safe means once triggered, the car's energy system is irreversibly disabled without manufacturer intervention. This irreversible safety measure complicated what might have once been a straightforward repair. Unlike traditional combustion engine faults, where mechanics can bypass sensors or coax a stubborn engine to fire, the 296's hybrid system depends on its battery management module to authorize power flow. Once the module enters a lockout state, the combustion engine simply won't even try to start. Two integrated systems, the electric drive and petrol engine, work in harmony, requiring a green light from the hybrid brain before ignition is possible. Matt quickly discovered that none of the usual aftermarket tools or independent mechanics could override this lockout. The proprietary software, accessible only within Ferrari's official network, holds the key to resetting or reprogramming the battery management system. Without Ferrari's cooperation, the hybrid system remains in permanent shutdown, effectively immobilizing the car. This introduces a new kind of digital gatekeeping, far beyond mechanical repairability. When Ferrari's technicians attempted to diagnose the fault using the official diagnostic equipment, they encountered silence. No fault codes, no communication. Just a dead system refusing to wake up. This absence of error history and diagnostic handshake left the car effectively asleep, signaling a complete system blackout. It illustrates how the integration of software security and hybrid technology creates modern barriers unheard of in the era of carburetors and distributor caps. Ferrari's stance complicates owner autonomy even further. The company's condition for assisting Matt was strict. The car must first be fully rebuilt. Every airbag, sensor, light, radiator, and hybrid module must be in place before an official diagnosis or software reset would even be considered. This creates a true catch-22. How do you finish a car that refuses to start before it's finished?
They haven't repaired it themselves because it's all the unknown. I understand that as well, but then that puts us in a situation of where do we go from there? Because if we can't solve it...
Most would walk away at this stage, but Matt's resolve kept him pressing forward. This deadlock underscores a larger tension in the automotive world, where software and warranty policies increasingly define repair possibilities. The physical reality of sourcing parts and replacing damaged components is just one hurdle. Owner access to the digital elements integrated into modern vehicles has become a crucial gatekeeper. Without it, no amount of mechanical skill can breathe life into these complex machines. Matt's experience highlights the gulf between traditional mechanical knowledge and the emerging domain of digital control. As cars evolve into computer-driven systems, manufacturer cooperation increasingly dictates whether an owner can maintain or restore their vehicle. This raises pressing questions about who really owns a car when software permissions control its most basic functions. The hybrid lockout system, while arguably a critical safety innovation, also represents a turning point in automotive repair culture. It blurs the line between legitimate manufacturer oversight and restrictive control, sparking passionate debates about rights, access, and innovation. Matt's struggle sits at the heart of this evolving conflict. Despite the technical and bureaucratic entanglements, the hybrid system deadlock pushed Matt to reconsider his approach. If a traditional rebuild was blocked, a radical reinvention might be the only way forward, a strategy that would bring the story to an unexpected and explosive turning point. Turning a halt into a fresh start, Matt Armstrong's pivot from restart to race car build would spark one of the most remarkable transformations in supercar history. Building the 296 Challenge replica. Faced with an immovable hybrid lockout and Ferrari's strict conditions, Matt Armstrong decided to pivot his approach entirely. Rather than simply repairing the road car, he aimed to transform it into something extraordinary, a road-going version of the Ferrari 296 Challenge race car. This wasn't just a cosmetic upgrade, it was a bold reinvention that would blend track performance and race-inspired aesthetics in a package never officially offered by Ferrari. The stakes were raised, and this new vision captured the imagination of car enthusiasts everywhere. Matt managed to acquire an official Ferrari 296 Challenge body kit, featuring lightweight panels, an aggressive front bumper, a distinctive rear diffuser, and a large rear spoiler that looked like it belonged on a prototype race car, not a street-legal Ferrari. These ultralight components were designed specifically for track use and represented cutting-edge race engineering straight from Ferrari's motorsport division. Incorporating these parts into a road car was an unprecedented move, one not covered by factory protocols. The project went far beyond slapping on race parts. Matt's team modified the cooling system to match that of the Challenge car, installing a centrally located radiator like Ferrari's official race version uses. Brackets were custom fabricated, and ducting for airflow was rethought entirely to suit the new aerodynamic setup. This level of engineering and fabrication required deep expertise and creative problem-solving, turning the workshop into a hybrid laboratory of innovation. Visually, the car evolved dramatically. Once rebuilt, the Ferrari in Matt's workshop was nearly indistinguishable from the official race entries competing in Ferrari's own motorsport championships. It was a stunning transformation that proved the technical feasibility of converting a road 296 GTB into a track-spec machine. This rare blend of street legality and race pedigree was an automotive dream realized, until obstacles emerged again. As the build progressed, critical parts for the final assembly were ordered. Early deliveries arrived without issue, encouraging the team to push forward confidently. But sudden silence followed, signaling trouble. Some essential components stopped arriving, creating a costly and frustrating dead end. The enthusiasm surrounding the project was met with a wall of corporate resistance that no amount of fabrication skill could overcome. When Matt reached out for clarification, Ferrari's response was blunt and decisive. Certain parts were restricted and required authorization linked to the car's original vehicle identification number, a protocol designed to ensure critical race parts were only supplied to official Challenge race cars. Because the rebuild was a hybrid, half road car, half race replica, the VIN did not qualify under the strict factory rules. This system effectively blocked the final pieces necessary to complete the build. The situation left Matt with a hybrid car caught in an impossible middle ground. It was no longer a pure road car eligible for traditional repairs, but also fell short of a fully sanctioned race vehicle. The project was physically transformed, but now mechanically and electronically stranded. It was a stunning achievement, stalled by manufacturer-imposed restrictions, a half-finished miracle that refused to come alive. Matt and his team were offered one final instruction: to bring the car to a certified Ferrari body shop for inspection before any further support could be furnished. Yet, this inspection posed another near-impossible challenge. The car was no longer built using official Ferrari repair procedures, and the company's repair documentation was not accessible to independent builders. On top of that, the car's race bodywork was never intended for road registration and would almost certainly fail certification. Faced with this catch-22, Matt was upfront about the unlikelihood of Ferrari taking the car on for any official support. His last formal step was sending an email directly to Ferrari, pleading for a reconsideration and a clear pathway forward. As of early 2026, no response had been received. His one-of-a-kind 296 Challenge Stradale remained parked, looking sensational but going nowhere. An unfinished masterpiece with no foreseeable ignition. Even as parts deliveries stopped and obstacles multiplied, many watched closely to see how this conflict might compare to past battles in the supercar world. Ferrari's mid-project blockade. Ferrari's decision to halt the delivery of key parts and place stringent conditions on the project sent shockwaves through the automotive community. For many, this move was more than a refusal. It felt like a trap designed to derail the build entirely after significant investment and public attention. Unlike previous cases where manufacturers rebuffed rebuilders from the outset, Ferrari initially cooperated, providing parts and workspace before abruptly changing course. This selective timing magnified the impact of the blockade. The partial delivery meant Matt's car was effectively trapped in limbo. Transformation halfway complete, it visually resembled a race car, but mechanically and electronically remained a fractured enigma. Without crucial components, the car couldn't be completed properly, and without Ferrari's blessing, it couldn't legally be classified as a track or road car. It was a project stalled in corporate red tape, frustrating for a community invested in seeing the car fully realized. When the build team sought Ferrari's technical assistance, the company imposed a condition. An inspection at a certified Ferrari body shop was mandatory before any diagnostic or software intervention could be performed. This created yet another barrier since the rebuilt car deviated from official repair procedures with limited documentation available for independent builders. The car's race-inspired modifications made passing inspection a far-fetched prospect. Matt Armstrong voiced bluntly that under these circumstances, Ferrari would likely refuse to touch the car. While the company's internal rules aimed to protect brand integrity and safety, the reality left an innovative and unprecedented build orphaned. The project's fate was uncertain as emails requesting paths forward went unanswered, leaving the car as a beautiful but inert sculpture. The community's reaction intensified the drama. Many likened Ferrari's actions to the high-profile saga involving Matt's earlier Bugatti Chiron rebuild, but pointed out distinctions that made this situation tougher. Unlike Bugatti's outright refusal from the start, Ferrari's initial cooperation raised hopes before slowly closing the door. This partial engagement fueled perceptions of deliberate obstruction rather than straightforward denial. Another critical difference was the hybrid system's software lockout, a layer of control not just over physical parts, but also electronic access. Ferrari's exclusive power to reset the battery management system added a new dimension of gatekeeping, sparking wider debates about ownership rights and repair freedoms in the era of electrified supercars. This wasn't just about parts. It was about control over the software that commands the vehicle's very heartbeat. This incident spotlighted evolving challenges for independent repairers, enthusiasts, and owners of modern, software-intensive cars. With manufacturers exercising growing influence over diagnostics and repairs, the question arises: who truly controls a car once sold? Ferrari's blockade illustrated that possession of physical components might no longer guarantee the right to use or fix your vehicle. Despite the frustration and setbacks, Matt Armstrong's perseverance remained unshaken. The challenges he faced embodied a broader conflict between passion-driven craftsmanship and corporate regulation. Whether this battle would end in triumph or stalemate hinged not only on technical skill, but also on negotiation and policies far beyond the garage. As Ferrari's blockade deepened, the shadows of past confrontations loomed large. But this struggle was about more than just cars. It was about control and culture in the evolving world of high-performance machines. The Bugatti parallel. Matt Armstrong's Ferrari 296 saga inevitably invites comparison to his earlier controversial Bugatti Chiron rebuild.
You might have seen on the last main channel video that we started rebuilding the Bugatti Chiron Percival.
The Chiron project made headlines when Matt clashed with Bugatti and its CEO, Mate Remick, over parts sourcing. The public back and forth sparked a fierce debate about the right to repair and rebuild hypercars. Bugatti's stance was clear from the start. They said no, and Matt pressed on regardless. The Ferrari 296 situation, however, feels even more frustrating for many due to its nuanced complexity. Unlike Bugatti's outright refusal, Ferrari initially allowed parts deliveries, workspace access, and seemed to support the rebuild. The project progressed publicly, investment was made, and hopes were high, only for Ferrari to suddenly withdraw support mid-project. This unexpected blockade left Matt with a car halfway transformed, unable to finish or restart. The feeling of being set up rather than simply denied makes this outcome feel much harsher. Timing played a critical role. Ferrari pulled support only after months of labor, once the build had gained massive online attention. The stakes were not just financial, but reputational. To withdraw support at such a pivotal moment amplified the sense of betrayal and raised difficult questions about corporate accountability when creative projects veer off official plans. Walking away wasn't merely inconvenient, it was a potentially catastrophic loss for Matt. The added complexity of Ferrari's hybrid battery system made this case even more challenging. Unlike Bugatti, which didn't have to deal with this issue, Ferrari has exclusive control over the battery management system. Without Ferrari's software clearance to reset the battery, the car simply won't start, no matter the parts or the skill of the shop. This electronic lockout creates a new precedent in post-sale vehicle control, making the ownership of the car almost meaningless without manufacturer cooperation. This control over a legally owned vehicle sets a troubling new standard for the industry. This digital sovereignty stretches manufacturer control into the realm of post-sale use, challenging long-held notions of vehicle ownership and repair rights. If Ferrari can do this, other manufacturers are likely to follow suit, raising urgent questions for regulators, collectors, and independent repair advocates alike. Matt's struggles with Ferrari are emblematic of a broader cultural shift in the automotive world. The right to repair, once a simple concept, now involves navigating digital authorizations and corporate policies far removed from the garage floor. The debate is no longer just about fitting parts. It's about unlocking digital permissions that ultimately control a car's operation. Despite these challenges, Matt's perseverance symbolizes a growing spirit of resilience among enthusiasts and independent builders. His fight highlights these critical issues and sparks broader conversations about the future of car ownership and innovation. The Ferrari conflict, like the Bugatti one before it, isn't just about the cars. It's about preserving the freedom to build, repair, and innovate outside corporate boundaries. As this debate rages on, one question remains: can passion and craftsmanship overcome corporate control in an era of software-driven supercars? If not, what future awaits collectors and builders who refuse to be locked out of their own machines? The larger implications of Ferrari's control over parts and software lead us directly into a heated discussion surrounding the right to repair, a battle reaching far beyond this single car. Corporate control versus right to repair. At the heart of Matt Armstrong's Ferrari 296 battle is the broader question of who controls the right to repair modern vehicles. As cars become more software-dependent, manufacturers gain unprecedented control over parts availability and electronic access. Ferrari's insistence on being the sole entity able to reset critical hybrid systems exemplifies a corporate control model that limits owners' freedom to repair their own property. This issue is not just about convenience or cost, but about ownership and independence. Historically, car owners could choose their mechanics, use aftermarket parts, and fix faults at will. Today, closed systems controlled by manufacturers challenge this norm. The Ferrari 296 case highlights how post-sale control extends beyond physical parts into essential software keys required for operation. Manufacturers claim these measures protect safety, brand integrity, and warranty terms, but critics argue they restrict innovation and competition. This is particularly true in the high-performance and electrified car sectors, where proprietary technology and restricted access make independent repairs almost impossible without factory cooperation. The debate also raises regulatory concerns. Governments in several countries are scrutinizing these practices and pushing for legislation to ensure owners and independent shops can access repair information and tools. Matt's ordeal serves as a high-profile example of why such regulation is necessary, shedding light on the consequences of digital lockouts. Ferrari defends its control as a means of managing liability, especially with high-voltage hybrid systems that carry risks. By restricting repairs to certified shops, Ferrari argues it is protecting both owners and its brand. However, this approach also stifles the creative, independent repairs that have enriched automotive culture. Some justify restricting access to race-spec parts, as Ferrari did with Matt's build, to maintain fairness and safety in motorsport. Unrestricted access to these specialized components could undermine Ferrari's controlled racing program and introduce liability issues. However, many enthusiasts are frustrated by Ferrari's inconsistent cooperation. After supplying some parts and access to the workshop, Ferrari abandoned Matt without a clear path forward, leaving him stranded mid-project. Matt's battle reflects a larger cultural crossroads, where passion for automotive craftsmanship collides with corporate control and technological complexity. His experience challenges us to rethink laws and policies that balance safety, innovation, and owner rights in a digitized world, while his persistence serves as both a warning and an inspiration for the future of car ownership. As these issues swirl amid controversies and innovations, an unexpected twist emerged, one that underscored the irony and complexity of Matt's Ferrari 296 journey. The Secret 296 Challenge Stradale. Matt Armstrong's Ferrari 296 build story took an ironic turn when spy photographers captured a camouflaged prototype resembling the very 296 Challenge spec car he had been painstakingly building. Dubbed the 296 Challenge Stradale, this development revealed Ferrari was secretly working on a road-going version of the car Matt had struggled to create independently, highlighting a striking contrast between corporate control and individual ambition. While Matt faced locked hybrid systems, blocked parts orders, and no official support, Ferrari was quietly perfecting the same concept. The 296 Challenge Stradale would follow Ferrari's tradition of limited-run, track-inspired road cars, like the 360 Challenge Stradale and the 458 Speciale. These models carry exclusivity, heritage, and immense value because of their rarity and engineering, contrasting sharply with Matt's independent build, which lacked the factory support and resources. The contrast is stark. Matt, working from a crashed shell, created a near-perfect facsimile of a Ferrari race car, while Ferrari was preparing the official version for launch. Ferrari's strict control over new product lines and proprietary parts is understandable from a business perspective, but it limits unconventional projects that push boundaries. For many in the car community, Matt's struggle is seen as a David versus Goliath scenario, raising questions about access, creativity, and fairness in today's automotive industry. Behind Ferrari's secrecy lies the reality of lengthy compliance processes, safety certifications, and liability management, elements beyond the reach of most independent builds. Matt's Ferrari 296 remains the only known road-legal 296 dressed in challenge spec bodywork, a one-off testament to his skill, though it remains constrained by software lockouts and corporate refusal. Matt's experience underscores the frustrations of independent builders, who face roadblocks not just from limited access to parts, but from systems designed to restrict their ability to innovate and create outside official channels. This evolving landscape raises critical questions about the future of personal automotive projects and the rights of owners to modify their vehicles without corporate interference. As the 296 Challenge Stradale edges toward release, Matt's journey exposes the growing tension between passion and corporate control, sparking conversations about the future of ownership, repair rights, and innovation in the era of digital automotive systems. From a wrecked Ferrari 296 to a race-ready masterpiece trapped by digital lockouts, Matt Armstrong's journey reveals the evolving struggle between independent innovation and corporate control. As Ferrari secretly develops its own challenge version, this saga spotlights critical questions about ownership, repair rights, and the future of high-performance cars. If you found this story compelling, please like and subscribe for more deep dives into the world of automotive passion and controversy.